Shadim Shari, Green Paradise. I would say that this is probably the best week for the bull uh, in a month. Let's see if we can close out the month of April better than the month of March, right? Let's start out with crypto, Bitcoin. I did trim a bunch of. I have a small amount of ARKB and a big amount of IBIT. I literally sold out ARKB. I was trimming, and then eventually I didn't have a lot, but enough to say, if I was buying ARKB down here when Bitcoin was below 90, I'm taking the profit. I wrote some cover calls on IBIT, so yeah, I did some trimming. But as far as my Bitcoin holding, didn't sell any. All I've been doing is accumulating. So I'm glad I accumulate between 92 and 78. So that's fine. MicroStrategy, I did trim. 356 was the way I trimmed. Basically, I was picking somewhere up there, and it sat there for a couple days, and then it triggered. No complaint. Next up there, 378. Okay, so one at a time. Am I gonna complain if we get back to all-time high? No. Am I gonna expect that it to continue to go high and never to come back down? Hell no. if you believe that this is something that we would never see the 200-day moving average again, never ever again, you're on the wrong channel. Go drink the Kool-Aid over at the Crypto Bros channel. Let's move on. TLT. Did okay. Like I said, it came off the nasty gap fill. So for the Brave and Bold and Brave, if you bought TLT at the gap fill, you did well. You already got yourself a 5% return. Not much to say. Not much to say. Until the Fed cut rate, not much to say. DIA. Yeah, looking better. Like I said, for the first time since this big day, okay, this big reversal day here, DIA is still sitting on key TA. So it's not, I wouldn't call it, I would not call this the end of the bear market. Okay, we are in a bear market. That hasn't changed. But as often, bear market does have pretty violent upward move. Can it retrace half of what it lost? Yeah. Can it get back into that gap fill here? Yes. Yes, the answer is yes. And then so if you go back and look at previous bear cycles, the nearest one is of course 2008, 2009. You see plenty of example where the market can be down, 10% in a month, and then up 6-7% in a week or two, and then down again. So nothing crazy. QQQ did better. Okay, it tested that on Thursday. It tested the high of that big candle day, and it moved higher. Can it get to the 50? The answer is yes. Would I look to do some kind of short spread? I would say for me it would be here, the 200. If I was to do a short spread again on the QQQ, it will be the 200, because that's the long-term trend. Okay, that's the long-term trend, because it broke after multiple years of uptrend. It broke it. Okay, so I'm not. So the narrative that I probably will sound very repetitive for the next 40 minutes is that this could be. This is not the end of the up move as far as this week. Okay, it's a lot can depend on the earnings of big companies next week. Okay, next week is huge, huge, huge. This week was pretty big. Next week is huge, huge. Okay, so if some big company come out with not so bearish tone, and then if President Trump gets some deals done with tariff, blah blah blah, right? It's all kind of stuff. So just keep your head on the swivel. Certainly, I wouldn't recommend chasing any green. Buy red, sell green. But for me, same thing here. Okay. Can it go higher? Yeah. Until I see the 200, at least the 50, at least the 50. Okay. I think that will be strongly contested if we get there. SPY slightly similar in that it surpassed. Can it fill the gap? Yes. I do think the area of strong contest is going to be the 50. So where would I short the SPY again? Where would I do a bear spread? Up there, the 200. Okay, so for me, for both QQQ and SPY, if I see the 200, I'm doing a bear spread at least a month out. IWM, nothing to be too excited over here. If you have it, can it move into the gray zone that where the 50 MA is? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So the right thing to do was to go long. I missed it. I don't trade IWM much, so it is what it is. I can easily miss it. Okay, easily miss it. All right, let's move on to Big Pharma. FV earning nice pop into strong resistance, confluence, FFIP, everything was up here. Yeah, so behave. Yeah, it's not as bad as it looked. I mean, it did bounce back a lot by the end of the day, but the first hour was pretty ugly. Okay, when you have a big pop like that and a big give back to fill the gap, that's ugly. That is like strong GTFO kind of feeling. But I have nothing. I have no exposure, so I do nothing. Eli Lilly, good news, popping. If you have it, congrats. Look to trim up there. Yeah, you should. 898, 935, all-time high. Yeah. NVO, ooh, the competitor. It's also trying to get the pills to be approved. It is. So watch out. Watch out. I was bearish on NVO for a long time, and I didn't like it, and I don't like it now. Haven't liked it. I liked it here. For those that keep track, I did like it here. I thought it was a good bargain up here, as far as the support. And then once it came down here, I start to say nah, and it been no for the past 4 months. The answer is still no. The one that I'm watching, and I have a small position, is dang, I bought some, didn't buy enough, but if I get back into 39.40, it's GTFO. It is that simple. With Glaxo, well, they changed the name, they don't use the word, it's JSK. You gotta eliminate the name Glaxo because it's associated with too many bad lawsuits. uh, for the first time in a long time, Merck has some good news. Jesus, sweet Jesus. Okay, it's coming off the bottom. Nothing to be too excited, but hey, good news is good news. What would I do? Nothing. Nothing. Leave it alone. But the news is good. The result is good. The drug is good. The cancer curing is promising. So, not much else to say there. I did get out of my small position in Alnila. Would I buy again if it come down? Okay, but for now, if you have it, if you want to stay greedy, make sure you get ready to pull the final trigger up there at the 270. Okay, it's long term, big fan. Short term, not so. I did also get out of MDGL, Madrigal, got up to the 50 MA. I got enough. I took the cash. I took the gain. Right? Would I buy back at the channel low? Yeah. At the 200 MA? Yeah. But for now, it's a very volatile stock. It can pop $10 easily. So, if you have it, make sure you have a plan to exit, trim up there. Okay, so it is what it is. Last of the few that I have, I did trim. More order is waiting up there at 619 and beyond. Okay, but I did trim at 611, basically ref high. 611 up there, yeah, and then next up 619, and then beyond. It was a good thing to buy down here. All right, let's move on. Banks. V, not low enough to buy, not high enough to sell. That's going to be very common theme with all financial, to be honest. AXP, same thing. Okay, if you have it, I would say look to trim 200, yes. If you got too much, maybe 50, but for sure that 200 is a must. And then ref high, yeah. Goldman Sachs, similar. They all looks very similar. All the financial look very similar. Okay, trimming at the 50 is highly recommended. Ref high, highly recommended. JPM, probably the strongest of the bunch, but definitely 100 MA. Yeah. Nothing in the financial are worth buying. Nothing. Let me repeat. Nothing. They are more in everything is worth preparing to trim or trim already. Okay, so keep that in mind. Bank of America, 61.8 FIB, gap fill, 50 MA, all kind of spot between now and there to get out, to trim. All right, if you want to be greedy, like many other one, 200 MA. Okay, it's. I got call out of my KRE. I had 53 cover call. It's leaving last night. Thank you. It was a win. It was a sign. Back here. My cost was. It was a sign right here on 4.4 on this big dump here. On that Friday. And then I've been writing cover calls ever since. I write cover calls at 51 and then 52 and then 53 and then get called away. Not gonna complain on basically give or take all the cover call money I collected, roughly almost 10% return in a month. Thank you. Come back later. TD. Look at TD. Toronto Dominion. Hey, if you have it, congrats. I don't have any. But if you still have it, this is it. Okay? 63. Gap fill. Major channel. The white line. Okay? Yes, can it test that? See? Kingsley, lesson. Okay, money laundering, they all do it. Nothing to be fearful. It's ridiculous. I have heard bank getting slapped on money laundering forever. They all do it. Yeah. Nothing to be fearful, but look at white line. It's a big fat channel, okay? Can't ignore that white line. I had nothing. I thought for sure the gray line was GTFO, and then looking good, TD, but it's time. It's time. Let's move on to energy, of course. USO, struggling. Hey, I wish USO was stronger. I wish USO popped like the rest of the market. Okay, but it's not. It should not. Okay, it should not. If it is, please come back up to the come up here. Come to daddy. Okay, fill the gap up at 76, 77 so I can re-short. I want to re-short energy. So come on up. Bring some stupid with you. Bring the stupid. Nothing to be excited there. Nothing. CVX. That was a sweet short. But struggling. It's struggling down here, and there's nothing to be excited. It has no business doing up here. When it was up here, it was saying, short me please. It tested my patience for a week, and then it say, yeah, hey, I wish I can foresee the dump this much. I thought it's gonna come down to here, but no, it overshot and come all the way down. Oh boy. XOM, a little bit better, but if XOM fill this gap up here, I'm shorting it. No if or buts about it, okay? Stop the stupid. Oxy, yeah, behave more like CVX, Chevron. Nothing to be excited here. Nothing. Now Halliburton, I buy. I'm nibbling. I'm adding. I'm selling naked puts. That's all I gotta say. Earning was not good. Schlumberger, struggling, consolidating. Earning was meh. See, just like Halliburton. Okay, but I like Halliburton more. I have basically at this point about even amount of in dollar in Halliburton and Schlumberger. The one that I like to add is, of course, MDU. Looking good. It's in the money. You know, I've been adding every time I come below 16.7 down to, it's even lower. I think the lowest I paid was like 16. I have like an order that's set at 16 forever, and it triggered, but I add, yeah, it's fine. it is fine. It's getting it started out small, but slowly it's been doing its thing, and it's in the money. It's green. All right, let's move on to GLD before we close it off. All right, let's redo the fib. Time to redo the fib. Let's remove this. Okay. Where can we go? Of course, I'm waiting to buy at that gap fill right there. That's the spot. The 20 MA, absolutely. So I have two order, okay? That and the 20 MA. I got more below, but I'm not, for now, that's my target. If we get to 298, I recoup everything that I sold up here. And then if we get to 294-ish, then I'm start to add to the goal position. But I did trim about 20% of the holding, so it's not small. Whenever if I'm trimming like 5-10%, then it's small. But when you trim 20%, it's serious. It's not like hey, I held on this whole time, so can't be silly and not trim. Where would I do the let's do the fib way here, okay? It's always the fib can be many spot. It's an art more so than exact science, I think. Sometimes it's very obvious, okay? Sometimes, but I'm not gonna do it way back here, going back to almost like 52 week. That's kind of crazy. Yeah. But I do like the fact that the fib, the 61.8 is using this starting point. The fib look like it's lining up quite nicely with the 100 MA. Not that now, once again, can it come back to the 100 MA? Absolutely. Okay, that's the last time. It touched here. This is why I picked that point. It touched the 100 MA for the first time, going back long before, going back 12 months, right? It touched, and then it touch it multiple times before it take off. So there's a rhyme and reason to why I did it there, right? I just didn't just like randomly pick a spot and say, okay, let's just do it here. No, it was not random. So yeah, that would be a sweet, okay? Not that I would be happy, because it certainly will hurt my remaining holding, but give or take, that's not bad. Okay, that's a great spot to literally double down, to be honest. But there will be a stop somewhere along the way. I'm not gonna let. There is not a chance in hell on earth that I will let GLD go from 304 down to 266 without some kind of stop on at least half of my remaining position. I'm not riding this. I'm not giving up. 15% on this down move, okay? But yeah, there will be a stops along the way. Most likely, I just have to figure out where to put the stop. Once I buy it here, if and when I buy some at the 20 MA, then I will look around and see where a logical stop would be, so that if it happened, then I protect my gain. GDX, I sold naked puts again, just like I did last week, 46.5. Where would I buy? Could I buy at the 20 MA? Maybe. I don't need to. Okay, I don't need to. Redrawn the fib last week was the right thing to do. I don't need to be in a hurry. Okay, now would I put a sign at 46.5? Yeah, I don't mind. Would I like to buy at the 50? The answer is yes. That's the spot, okay? The 100? Absolutely. The 200? Back up the truck, okay? But for now, nah. SLV, so close, so close. I have an order to trim right. It was literally a penny away. So close. Annoys me. This annoys me when I'm so close. So yeah, it was annoying that I thought, oh, trim order's gonna kick in. No, miss it by a penny. No, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I have been bullish on silver. I added here, but dang, I would love to get out up here on some, but the plan is still the same. Trim, trim, trim. There's 3 spots, okay? Trim here, trim there, trim there. So I will be half out from here to here, and then cycle back and restocking the holding on a pullback, but certainly not chasing. I'm not buying silver here. I'm looking, planning, anticipating, trimming. That's it, people. Short and sweet. See you Monday.